Welcome back to my new video, and in this video I will take the 20 million out and I will put in the silicone earplugs. After my failed attempt of doing speed runs, I have refilled it with 20 million. I did one speed run and I have reached 200 kilometers per hour, but I want to check how full they are after one run, and I can feel a small difference between the front diff and the rear diff. This is the front, this is the rear, and it may be hard to tell or hard to see, but this one feels a little bit more open than the rear diff. So I will open it up and I will see what the difference is in how full it is. But regardless of how full they are, I'm gonna put some silicone earplugs in it. Now put the rear diff away. Let's start with the front diff. While driving, the oil inside the differential will build up in pressure, causing tension in the screws. Make sure you go easy on the screws and that you don't damage the head of the screw. The front diff. If it is opening up, and there it comes. You can see it is nice and sticky. So let's check how full the differential actually is, because without this big gear in there, it is quite hard to see how full that it actually is. So I will put it in, and when I press it down all the way, it should be completely filled up. And it looks like it is still completely filled up. So that's a little bit strange to me, because the front diff looks a little bit lighter than the rear diff. Now let's open up the rear diff and see what's inside there. To prevent damage on the head of the screw, press down your tool hard into the screw and then slowly turning it counterclockwise. Now let's open the rear differential and see how it looks like from the inside. And as you can see, it is pretty sticky. And also the rear differential looks pretty much 100% full. Personally, to me, that's a little bit strange, because the front diff felt a little bit lighter than the rear diff. But regardless of how it felt, I am going to fill it up with some silicone earplugs. Now, before I can put in the earplugs, I have to take the 20 million out. And in my experience, with a thick differential fluid like 20 million, it is easier to scrape it out with a small tool than to use, for example, brake cleaner or a degreasant to take it off the gears. You will not be able to fully clean the differential from the inside just by scraping it. That is why I reuse the 20 million that I take out to clean the gears even further. When I press the 20 million against the gears, small pieces of 20 million that are still on the gear will be absorbed by the bigger ball, thus cleaning the gears further. I don't see any difference between the rear and the front, but the difference in how hard it was locked, it was also minimal, but there was a small difference. What are silicone earplugs? Well, that's this. And when I compare it to the 20 million, it is a little bit harder, just a little bit. If I am going to pull on the 20 million, it is getting pretty long without tearing. But this earplug, I need to use more strength, but it is not as flexible. It tears up. But I can put it back together, mold it, make it into one piece again, and then start pulling it again, and then it breaks. But it is stronger, it is thicker. So I hope this silicone earplug will result in a longer run times without changing or adding more diff fluids, or in this case earplugs. Silicone earplugs are not your conventional differential fluid, so a different filling procedure is needed. Personally, when I fill up a differential up until the thickness of 2 million, I just put in all the spider gears, cross pins, etc. Put the differential on the table or in a stand, fill it up, wait so that the differential fluid can sink down, add a little bit more differential fluid until it is full. With silicone earplugs it doesn't work like this. They are so thick, they keep their shape. So when you put all the spider gears and cross pins, etc. inside the differential and then you put silicone earplugs on top, the bottom half of the differential stays empty. I put in a little bit of silicone earplugs at the bottom, then I put in the spider gears and the cross pins, and then I put in some more silicone earplugs. While putting in the first silicone earplug, make sure that there is enough room for the spider gears to fit, because you will not be able to press the spider gears all the way inside the silicone earplugs. It is that dense. I had that problem the first time. I put in too much silicone earplugs at the bottom, put my spider gears in with the cross pins, put the top gear in, and then it was sticking out on top. Now, when closing the differential, you need to make sure that the planetary gear sits flat on top of the differential. You start with tightening the screws for around 95% all the way in, and then in a cross you tighten it further a couple of times, and then you can feel that the planetary gear is pressed down evenly on the diff housing, and then in the end you go full circle, clockwise, counterclockwise, and tightening all the screws for one last time. Now the moment of truth. I have closed it. Now let's see how this thing is locked. If this doesn't work, then the only option is a diff locker. That's tight. Filling the differentials with earplugs seems like a success, but the only way to find out is to do a speed run. So I will put these back in my Limitless, charge my batteries, and then probably tomorrow I will go out running and try set new personal best. If you like my video, leave a like. If you want to see more of my videos, check out my channel. And then I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.